Okay, so in this video, I want to change the screen protector on my new iPad. Now, there is one already on there. I couldn't wait around. But the fact of the matter is, it uses what I used paper-like. This is kind of the industry standard for screen protectors which feel like paper. It's a nicer experience. I talk more about this in another one of my videos. But the only problem with it is the new iPad has its camera on the long edge, whereas my M2 iPad, it has the camera on the side, and there's a little notch cut out in the screen protector to cater for that. So, well, I covered over the camera with a bit of screen protector, so I need to do something about that now. Also, I wanted to show you just what it's like to change a screen protector. Now, just while I'm here, I did say paper-like is kind of the industry standard for screen protectors that feel like paper. They haven't released a new version of this with a notch on the long edge yet, so instead I'm going to be using just something I picked up online. Paper film screen protector. Not tried before, I'm sure it'll do a good job. Now, another one which is on this iPad at the moment is the Astropad Rock Paper Pencil. Now, the difference is it's actually got magnetic stripes on the top and the bottom, so rather than sticking it down, you see that? A little magnetic stripe? That sticks to the surface of your iPad and holds the screen in place like that. This is quite useful because you can take it off and put it back on really, really easily. And also, I do have to say, the actual texture of it, if I can get my pencil out, the texture is really quite rough and it gives a good feeling of paper. With it, you do have to change the nib of your Apple Pencil, if I just show you that as a close-up. And I swapped over to using metal tips a while ago because, well, they don't wear out the way plastic nibs do, especially when you use them on a rough surface like this screen protector I have on here, also with paper-like as well. And you do see people complaining about this on the forums. Well, look, just swap over to a metal tip. They're very, very cheap. They last a long time. The drawing experience is pretty much identical to using a plastic nib. So, yeah, definitely swap over with them. But anyway, with this one, I do like it with the little magnetic strips. My only reservation is that when you're drawing, because the magnetic strip is on the underside of the surface of the protector, just right next to it, if I get my pencil again, if you bring your pencil up close and personal to it, you find there's a slight lip there where the screen protector isn't quite touching the surface of the iPad. Now that I learned to live with, let's put it that way, because it's not affecting any of the actual icons that you need to press in order to use something like Procreate. But just be aware of that when it happens. But anyway, for this, what I need to do is change the screen protector on my new iPad. And to do that, let's move the pencil. You're going to need to take it out of any holders you might have it in. Yeah. Go. Also as well, let's see, where am I? I'm just editing one of the videos from the course. Let's get out of that, and I will come and turn off my iPad. Hold down at the side and at the top and slide to power off. You don't want this on when you're changing your screen protector. Anyway, let's move on. All right, now you may notice these things here. These are the kind of dusters that attract dust. All right, so that should attract some of the dust which might be in the atmosphere. I've also vacuumed my entire room because I'm worried about dust. Also, this shirt, look, it's quite a nice day here in England, would you believe it? But also, this shirt, whenever I take it off, I get a static electricity charge, which means it's attracting dust. Me, paranoid about dust? Yes, because every speck of dust which lands upon my iPad when I'm doing this, I'm going to be looking at for a long, long time. Do not want that. Anyway, let's get my trusty old glasses. I'm using this one I just talked about, paper film screen protector. Now, it does come with several tools, which is very useful. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of make this up on the spot, because sometimes when you're putting on a second screen protector, you've lost these various different things like this, and so you just have to kind of make it up. If you've got all the little bits of tape which they give you with any of these screen protectors, that's fine. But for now, I will do that. I will also just get this low tack tape. All right, let's get ready to make it all up on the spot. Okay, so here's my iPad with the old screen protector on there. I will get out the new one. Put this just here for now. Let's make sure that the actual notch is in the right place because that's the top of my iPad. I've got a little thing here, peel off this mask before application. That's at the bottom, so I will turn this around like this. And please peel off blah, blah, blah. All right, so there's the notch on my iPad. There's a notch on my piece of paper. This is supposed to be going on like this. And it's actually quite big. I hope this doesn't cause problems when I'm trying to put this inside its actual case. But we'll see what happens. Okay, so for the first thing, deep breath. I've got to peel off the old screen protector. Try and find a corner to do this with. There we go. And try not to breathe too much on the surface of the iPad. Right. Put that off to one side. And I'm taking a look for signs of any dust. I put the screen protector on the minute I got the iPad. I peeled off the protective cover, put the thing straight on. They've given me various different things like I've got a little cloth here which I can use to wipe off any dust. That's good. More than that, see what one of these things is? This is something you buy in a camera shop and it's there to remove dust off lenses of cameras. So this will be the first thing I would use, just to remove any bits of dust. And yet, looking down at an angle, I can see various bits. The good thing about this is it's not touching the surface of my iPad, which you don't want to do unless you can't help it. If it's more stubborn, use one of these things. Also, these people have very kindly given me an alcohol prep pad. That's for things like sticky fingerprints and stuff like that. Okay, so the next thing, I need to put this on top of my iPad, and it needs to line up as much as possible, or pretty much perfectly. Let's see whether it does or not. Okay. So now, well, I went one step a little bit ahead of myself there. I will get strips of this. In fact, yeah, I could move that if I wanted, because I'm going to have to do this. Put this on the underside, let it roll down there. Now, the people who have made the screen protector are advising me to do it along with a long edge like this. I don't want to do that. Sorry, the short edge. I don't want to do it that way because it's a short edge, I can put less of these strips in there. If I put them on the long edge, then I can fit more of these strips in there. Ultimately, this joint, which is made out of sticky tape, is going to be a little bit more stable. Okay, so I've got 5 strips of sticky tape there. I'll just realign this. They're asking me for this to make sure that step 2, the sticker that says step 2, is facing upwards and towards me. That's fine. That seems to be in about the right place. Let's just hold this in place like this and put my little bits of sticky tape there. This is, yes, it's probably covered up my camera. That's okay. I can always clean it up afterwards. That is pretty much how I want it. Now, what most people or most companies tell you to do is to fold this back like this, but then pull off the entire back bit of it and suddenly flip it over. I don't want to do that. Instead, one more clip clean because, yes, I am paranoid, and for this, I think I do need this. my little dust-free cloth. Oh, and I'm holding my breath. I'm trying not to breathe on the surface of the iPad. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel back this bit of the screen protector. I don't want to touch the actual surface of it yet, but rather than peeling it all off in one go, I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it over like this. All right. Now, this is a trick we used to do back in the old days when people had airbrushes and we used to have huge sheets of frisket film attached to shield the airbrush. You take a ruler, you make sure it's not a sharp edge. This has got a metal edge, but it's a very blunt metal edge. And then you take it and you move it along like this. And can you see, as I do, the paper, the bit of plastic at the back is starting to move with it. And if I do it this way, I end up getting a smoother effect with less chance of big air bubbles than if I was to do it just taking the entire sheet of protective film and just flipping it over and hoping it works. All right, so we can take off these things now. Then you get something like this, a little scraper, and they're very kindly supplied one with the actual package. And when you look, you can see little air bubbles. So what you need to do is just push them to the side of the screen where they will get pushed away. I don't see any in the middle of my screen, thank goodness. I've got a couple here which do gradually getting scraped out like this. Few along the edge here. You do this before you peel off the final bit of protective film because, well, you don't want to damage the actual paper surface screen protector. Not if you can't help it. All right, I've done that. I can't see any more bubbles inside there, which is good. That is because I used this ruler, which puts the entire thing down gradually in a controlled way, but also an even surface. Now, the last thing is take the second bit of protective film off. And there we go. One screen protector, looking very nice. Thank you very much. Just put that back inside its actual case, and I am good to go.